We're going to switch from looking at what the dogs did post spring, and we're going to bring it back to what the dogs have been doing on the recruiting trail because, man, recruiting has been going crazy here for Jedd Fisch, where you have a top 15 ranked class as of today. Kevin, man, when you're looking at what Jedd Fisch is doing on the recruiting trail, do you think it's living up to the hype? Because I personally think it is. And
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about like what does a Jedd Fisch recruit look like?
Yeah. I mean, the past two seasons, they were kind of in like survival mode, still put together a good class in 2025. Then you saw what they could do with a full cycle with the 2026 class, and it was the best class they've ever had in the modern recruiting era, and they're trying to top it. They're getting there. I think this class is going to be on par with last year's class, the way it's trending, and potentially better, right? If a few chips fall their way in the next, we're entering official visit season at the end of May, and then there's 2 weekends in June. But the personnel departments, this is a full-time thing where they've been scouting high school guys, identifying the targets, and we're seeing it right now in this May, after the spring game. They're out on the recruiting trail. They're extending offers to the 2028 guys. Um, for this class, the 2027 class, I mean, these guys are guys they've been recruiting for over a year, just constant. And you're not going to get everybody, but some of these guys were on campus last spring in spring 2025, and that it's not a surprise to see them commit and not take any other visits any other place. A great example is Zach Albright, right? Glacier Peak wasn't you know wasn't a super highly ranked guy back in 2026 in the spring. Fast forward to the fall 2025, fast forward to the fall of 2025. It was a great year at Glacier Peak as a three-sport athlete. Was getting recruited by several Power Four programs and just shut it down and
Yeah.
committed to the Huskies in the spring. And we're seeing that with a lot of guys. And that's just all old school, like build relationships and sell the program, sell the strengths, and they're doing it. And the staff he put together, they all have the energy to stay on the recruiting trail. And I think it's a little different from some programs now that have just, not it's not as important, right? When you have the transfer portal, right? It's
Mhm.
not as, you might just go the free agency route and not have the patience to produce guys that may ultimately
Oregon.
leave. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, um, I mean, that's how I generally see it. Um, the 2027 class, it's not finished yet. I have the name I'm circling right now is Tavita Nonu from O'Day High School. Obviously, like O'Day has been putting out guys for a very, very long time, all under Monty Kohler. And I think this is a guy that you just got to get. You got to get him. You've been recruiting him for, since forever, it seems like. And he's a local guy, and you just can't let him go. And for years and years, the Huskies have seen guys uh, leave the state and actually have great success
Oh
and
yeah.
go to the NFL. And so you hope that a guy like Nonu will stay.
Yeah. No, you're completely correct. And I mean, I know we just got a big recruiting win this weekend. I know
Yeah,
he's either a three or a composite four star, depending on the
yeah,
on what you look. But I mean, Gavin Day was a three-star when he committed to us, and I mean, he was damn near a five-star when
yeah.
everything was said and done. Tell me a little bit about what you think about Wiley Ava.
Yeah, I mean he's versatile, he's physical, kind of like I don't know how accurate the comparison is, but like that's what you think of when you think of what Taylor Mays was coming out of high school, like
Oh
just a
yeah.
big hitter. I mean, he could probably maybe played linebacker, and that's what Mays
Speaking of a
told him.
local
Like,
guy that went somewhere
yeah,
else.
yeah. Some guy that could play linebacker, could play safety, is rangy, 6'2", 193. Feel good about it. I mean, like he again was pursued by Michigan. coming down the stretch. ASU kind of put up a fight at the end, and we're seeing a lot more of that. It's like ASU's like a serious player and battling for these SoCal recruits. I think the other thing about that's interesting about Willie Ava is he's a Bosco kid, right? They got the kicker last year, CJ Wallace, but uh, the staff is not afraid to just go there where you're thinking like, well, that's kind of like USC, UCLA, and maybe we'll see UCLA, put up more of a fight now. But pulling guys from Bosco, like it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Especially with UCLA and USC in the backyard. So huge win for Fish, huge win for Taylor Mays to close on him.
What about some of the other guys that committed here recently? I know we had Zach
Yeah.
Albright, we had Reese Russell. Um, Anybody else that you want to
Yeah.
bring up that was you thought was a really nice recruit that those guys might be
Yeah.
3 stars, but they
Yeah.
filled in, you know?
I'm excited about Russell out of Valor Christian in Colorado. I don't know how many people know this, but Brock Heward is a coach there. I don't think he's the head coach, but his son, Titus Heward, is quarterback at Valor Christian out in Colorado. And Russell is like just like a hard worker. I mean, he's got an NFL, I think his dad is an NFL executive or former NFL
Yeah.
executive. 6'3", 295, moves well. May not be the same caliber as a Cody Green, but not many people are. But
Hmm.
it was huge to get him as the anchor for offensive line, and this is like probably the most important position to recruit. He'll come that last week of official visits with like a bunch of other offensive linemen that haven't committed yet.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking of Kova Doyle out of Puyallup.
What about
God,
Tristan Dare?
Tristan Dare. I don't think he's set his official visit yet, but that's another guy that they're pursuing heavily after he decommitted after the Michigan coaching staff turnover. So, um, I'm looking at offensive line, obviously, like anybody that we can get there and a build would be great for
Is there
Fish.
any sleeper on the offensive line that you want people to be paying attention to?
Yeah, let me pull up my list because uh so this is my plug, ctownsports.com. We got a nice little official visit tracker on the home page. These are guys that I've confirmed that are coming. Tristan Dare's interesting because I thought they were out of it. But let's look. Let's see. We got Lincoln Maggio
That's who I was just about to bring up.
out of Oceanside is a guy that they've been pursuing for a long, long time. Um, and Ty Kennedy is also a guy, Lincoln Kennedy's son. A little more raw,
Yeah.
but man, wouldn't that be cool to get a guy that has Husky lineage? And Lincoln Kennedy is not shy about being a Husky and being proud to be a Husky. And um, we've seen legacies not come to Husky, not want to play at UW for one reason or the other, but that would be a really cool fit. And I think that's someone that hasn't been talked about. Again, out of Arizona, out of Mountain View, where this staff has made a killing out of, got several recruits out of that high school in Arizona. So I would not be surprised for them to hopefully get Ty Kennedy and
Okay.
ideally get him to commit before.
Yeah.
But that's someone that no, not many people are talking about.
But I know what's his name? Lincoln Meggio
Yeah.
is kind of the higher, he's the 4 star
Yeah.
guy. Do you
Yeah.
think there's a good chance he comes, or is he?
Yeah, I think it's tough because you got that same weekend. You got Kennedy, you got Yarborough, and you got Doyle and Maggio. There's no way you're getting all four of those guys, right?
Yeah.
So I think maybe you get Kennedy, and then maybe you get Doyle, or maybe you get Maggio. I think you have a higher shot with Doyle, but Oregon's right there,
Yeah.
right? And it might
They can throw
just
the bag at him.
yeah, and that's what's tough, right? It's tough to know in modern recruiting, like why a decision was made. So hopefully the hometown advantage with Doyle works, but we never know.
Okay. One of the ones that was brought up to me by a friend and what they wanted me to ask was, what do you think
Yeah.
about Dante Tyson, the wide
Dante
receiver from
Tyson,
Texas?
yes, yeah. So they're looking to add at least one or two more dudes, and I don't think like it's as we saw with Kevin Cummings, like at the end, they added Trez Davis and they added, the name's escaping me. They added two 4 stars at the very end of the
Oh,
26
Tyson.
cycle.
Sorry, Tyson's not from Texas. Sorry, I'm thinking about
No, 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 he's from Arizona.
Morris from
Oh,
Texas.
yeah, Trey Morris from Texas, but Dante Tyson from Arizona, he's my sleeper to commit that first May 29th, May 31st official visit weekend. Again, the staff has been successful out of Arizona. Um, Sydney will be there. The quarterback Ross Kopf will be there that
Yep.
weekend, both from Arizona, both committed.
Do you think he's more
And
likely than Trey Moore to commit?
I do think, and I do just because Trey Moore's later, right? Like that's kind of you want guys as early as possible. Like
Hmm.
again, Gavin Williams was there; he's off the board now. He's going to USC. But that first weekend, we have one, two, three, four, five committed guys and three uncommitted guys. So, I out of Tyson, Jagioni from Orem, out of Utah, Camille Loud, out of Bishop Gorman, Nevada. Those are your uncommitted guys that are coming that weekend. I think Tyson is the most likely to pop. But
Okay.
again, we never know. So
Okay. Next guy on my list I'm looking at is Jaden Walk Green, the safety.
yeah, yeah. So he becomes even more important, right? Depending on how many safeties you want to take.
Because you also have Gavin.
Um,
Is Gavin
yeah,
Williams off the board
he's
or
off the board. Yeah,
he's
he committed to USC today. And once you're committed to USC, you're not going to flip. I
Mhm.
think there's like I don't know if you've heard this, but they kind of have this rule where once you're committed, you can't take any other visits. So I think he's completely off the board. Jaden Watt Green, kind of a sleeper guy, hasn't been on campus a lot. I wouldn't circle him as someone like, oh, we're going to get him for sure. Um, but they've closed on 3 stars, you know, on official visit weekend. He's one of those 3 star recruits, and I think they have a shot at him, but definitely a quieter recruitment than some of these other guys that we've been talking about.
Right. Last guy I have on my list is Elijah Kimball, the running back.
Yeah, so that's actually interesting because running back, um, uh, they're done. So I think I haven't confirmed with Kimball yet, but I don't think any of that we'll see any more official visits from running backs. They're only taking one on the board, and that's Jeremy Adenyanju, another Arizona kid
Hmm.
that's committed. So we won't see any other running backs. Um, One guy that I do want to just put a plug in that I think is super interesting is Caden Jones. And most of the quarterbacks are off the board now. And what I love about Caden Jones is Danny Sprinkle and the basketball team have also offered this guy.
Okay.
And I don't
Okay.
know if you've seen his highlights or anything, but so football, he's like a distributor, and has an arm and is talented in that regard. But he can play a nice point guard. And it's a little like the last point guard that played both. You and me both know Nate Robinson. But then you
Hmm.
had some awkward fits with like, God, I think Safarian Jenkins played
Yep.
basketball too.
He
Wasn't
did.
the best. There were a couple other guys, but like,
ASJ definitely did. Yeah, there's a few
yeah.
guys that have over the and you know what? I always enjoy Paul Arnold, I believe, was a guy that played
Okay.
both.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Kennedy. Yeah.
that's going back, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It would be cool. I don't know if he's gonna play back. Like, I don't know if he would actually do it, but I could totally see it happening, right? If you come in as a freshman, don't play a lot of quarterback, right? Like, you're gonna play point guard for the Huskies.
Yeah, and you're going to be sitting for a while with behind the quarterbacks we have, unless you're some sort of
Yeah.
Damon Williams type player.
Yeah.
All right, before we get out of the recruiting
Yeah.
talk, any recruits that you think are sleepers that you think are going to be popping that people aren't really talking about, but you think is a target that UW can get and will go after?
Yeah. Um, well, we talked about Nonu.
Yep.
I think that Maurice Williams is another local kid from Grand Capalicin High School, 3 star DB. He was at Yelm, I think, prior to transferring to Graham. And I just think that he locked in early. The staff was really serious from the very beginning in his recruitment of like, you're a priority. Right when the 27th cycle kicked off, like Washington was like the favorite. I don't think he was the first. I think someone else was the first to commit, but he's the guy that I think that again, another local guy, kind of to set the tone for this. Like this, we want to keep guys in Washington State, um, and keep them here. So, I I think Williams is the last guy that I think is talented enough, and it means more because he's local.
Who is out of this class? Who would be that guy that they either flip or that they get that would be your dream guy that maybe looking at
Yeah,
UW, but it's kind of on the UW's on the outside looking in at them.
yeah. I'd go with Osani Gales. We haven't heard a lot about him. His sister actually graduated from UW last year, and he's from IMG Academy. He's coming out of IMG Academy, has a more little high profile commitment. He put a top five out there. I think Alabama's on there.
Hmm.
And so there's some heavy hitters fighting for his services. And if Cummings was able to pull a kid out of Florida, a four-star guy, and I think he's the highest ranked out of all these wide receivers they're looking at, that would be huge.
That
And
would be
they
huge.
definitely have a realistic shot at him. Whether they can get him is a different question, but yes, another guy that I'm circling. He's coming June 5th, June 7th, along with his teammate Sensor Gaylord, four-star DB, also out of IMG. So we'll see how they do that weekend.
Okay. All right. So you're feeling pretty good about the type of classes that Jedd Fisch
Yeah,
is building. Do you feel like
yeah,
he's doing this? He's not just building a roster to survive the Big Ten.
yeah.
He's building a roster to be successful in the Big Ten. You'd agree with that, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think the way he's put it is like it's like the NFL draft, right? Like you don't want to sit a first round pick. So like they have Cody Green playing, they have DCB playing.
Can't
I
afford
don't
to pay
think
these guys money and have them sit.
yeah.
You
Yeah, and
know?
I don't yeah, and I don't think we have a Cody Green in this class, but who knows? I mean, that could be the next class, like Jelani George, right? Number two player, number two 2028 player just put out his top six and UW was on there, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's nice.
so this is something that we didn't really necessarily see unless it was a local guy, right? Like if we don't see like five stars put we didn't see that in the past. Put UW in the top five, right?
That
It was super
that's
rare unless they were local.
and that's hella real. And I think,
Yeah,
it's weird. I was talking to a few friends about this, about,
yeah,
remember how Damon Williams, they said he got with like 4.2 or 4.5 million dollars to play here.
yeah,
And they're like, "Oh, you should let him sit." And it's like that's like 20% of your team budget almost. You
yeah.
can't pay
You
somebody
can have,
20% of
yeah,
your budget and not let them play. And that same rule goes with freshmen. You can't
yeah,
pay somebody a bunch of money and not expect them to play. Do you
yeah,
see them paying freshmen that they expect to pay or to play, and then maybe looking at other teams' rosters for guys that were really interested in UW, but maybe they went to Oregon for the bag that freshman
yeah,
year, and then they look to transfer the sophomore, junior year, and them going and picking off those guys that maybe liked UW more, but UW didn't
yeah.
offer as much.
Yeah. No, I think it's definitely invest in the guys that they have, right? I think the transfer portal, and I think it's been apparent, like it's supposed to be a supplement, right? Like it's supposed to supplement what you've built, what the guys that you chose and that they chose you, and and you're gonna spend all the money you have. Um, yeah, I just think that what they have right now, that we'll see more of that they'll just build. And you're gonna have an Adam Muhammad leave every year. Like it's just gonna it happens to every single roster. You just have to wait for it, and hopefully it's not the guy that you personally like as a fan, right? Like it sucks to have Muhammad leave, but like realistically, like they have money, they have a ceiling place on every player, right?
Yep.
And if an agent does not want to accept that, they got to let him walk. That's just how the business works. And there's no better way to do it because once you start fudging numbers, then it screws everything up,
I
right? It's
couldn't
just
agree more.
there's too many players, there's too much to plan out, and you can't just make those compromises.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm kind of feeling
yeah,
I'm feeling the same way about it. I know that until there's like hard rules placed on everything, you got to play to to your budget, and
yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and that's going to be taking somebody who understands the NFL game and how budgets work. All
yeah.
right. man, I really appreciate you joining me
Yeah.
today. Let me ask you this: plug anything you want to plug
Yeah.
here before we get out of here. I want to make sure
Yeah.
everybody that's watching knows how to follow you, how to see all
Yeah.
your work, and make sure you guys go follow them on Twitter too.
Yeah. Yeah. So ctownsports.com. It's free to subscribe. We won't flood your inbox. You'll get my UW recruiting intel, my UW recruiting news there. And then if you want the stuff as it drops, Ctown Kev on X, you can follow me on there. And then if you want to listen to the podcast where we have a lot of this type of UW football talk, you can find us at Wait for It Seattle, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Appreciate you having me on. It was awesome to chat Husky football recruiting, and I'm looking forward to the season in the fall, man.
Okay. All right, boys and girls. So that is it for Mondays on Montlake this week. Next week, we're going to start diving into the positions and we're going to start taking a closer look at every single position as we move towards fall. But you guys know, for all your off-season news, make sure you guys go check out Mondays on Montlake. Until next week, you know what it is. Go Dogs.